Hello everyone, my name is Hasty Swampert and I'm back to give you all my 33rd clear of Purity Forest, and this time around I have completed it with Lileep. And move-wise for Lileep, I was pretty lucky. I think this is the most optimal moveset you could get, all TMs, because what it learns through level up isn't really fantastic, because you start out with Astonish, you start out with it's Astonish, Constrict at level 8, Acid at level 15, Ingrain I think at 21 or 22, and I think there was another attack, but I don't remember what it was. But those were like a few of the moves that it learns the throughout the course of this dungeon. But I was lucky enough to get Frustration at floor 10. It was actually in a monster house, and Bullet Seed was in that same monster house room also. Well, actually, for Frustration, a Weedle ended up taking it from the monster house is my guess, but Bullet Seed was in that same floor. So I got those two moves at good timing. And then for my hold item, I got X-Ray Specs at floor 26, and before that I was using a Defense Scarf, which actually really helped because at the beginning, Lileep has pretty good bulk. But as you go on throughout the dungeon, you can kind of see that it has 35 in the defenses. It kind of loses its luster. It becomes more noticeable that it's not so good by like the 30s, but it's not awful by any means. It's just not as bulky. You do get good hit point growth though, and you start I think around 55 or 58. You start at the beginning of the game with a really high hit point stat. And your defense stats at the start are 16 and your offenses are 20. So that's a pretty good start. Leveling wise, I think is really where it gets difficult to use this Pokemon in the dungeon without Frost, because for level 1 to 2 you need 600, then you need an additional 600 to level 3, and then I think after that it's 1200. But by the time you hit level 7, well, to get to level 7 you need 10,200. And I think for level 10 you need somewhere around a little under 20,000. So that's pretty bad. But as you can see, level 25, I actually ended up hitting it on this floor, because if you can see the map below, that middle bottom room right there was where I started and I found the stairs. But because I had X-ray specs on, I decided, you know what, I'm going to take a detour and go to see that Kecleon shop. But there wasn't anything that great. It was Life Seed and a ginseng, but I was kind of hoping to buy a joy seed from the place before leaving. My other hold item that I used was Insomnoscope, which actually did help me out in a pinch, because on one of the floors I spawned next to an Altaria and a Parasect, and when I put it on, the Altaria went for Sing, which was the right move for me, because then I was able to pick them both off. But I don't think I mentioned this too much, but Bolt Seed was actually pretty good, because your, your offenses are in the 40s. 45 special attack is pretty nice for this level. And I didn't have a problem with elixirs. There were always plenty of elixirs. There was a point where I had 7 of them at a time. Food was also not a problem. I think the only thing was that I couldn't find a pass scarf, and I might as well touch on this briefly, but it gets suction cups, and I made a little demonstration before this video where I show you why suction cups is not a good ability. So that's why I added that little tidbit at the beginning, but I think that's all I have to say. Lileep is kind of okay. Has some strong points at the beginning. Leveling it gets easier after around like level 10 or so. But 80 something thousand by level 25 isn't fantastic, but it's not awful. And I think what really helped me out was that I found 2 joy seeds early on to help me get through leveling to get to level 3 and then to level 4. And I think finding the frost and having sufficient rocks, well, I didn't have that many rocks. I did run out of rocks while grinding for Skarmory, so that's another that cut my grinding short. But I did look at how long this kind of took me from pictures that I took throughout the journey. And this run surprisingly took me a little over 3 hours, which it didn't feel that long. But I guess with the passive grinding that I did, then I think with all of that, then it really made it slower. I was thinking it was like, oh, it's probably like 2 hours maybe because I'm kind of going through the levels, but not really. I took this one pretty slow. So I think that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like for Lileep, leave a comment, share with your buds, and I will see you all later. Thank you for watching.